The New York Knicks are one of the hottest teams in the NBA since the new year started. They are 15-3. Unfortunately, they lost last night to the Lakers, so sorry for the timing on this video, but the point still stands. They are one of the hottest teams in the NBA since the OG Anunoby trade. Before I talk about the New York Knicks, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you are so inclined. We do player breakdowns, team breakdowns, basketball news reaction to stories. We're going to talk about the trade deadline, which is right around the corner. Shit, that came fast. But we talk everything basketball. So without further ado, let's talk about the New York Knicks. Since the new year, when OG Anunoby made his debut against the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Knicks have been one of the best teams in the NBA, and I think what I like about this Knicks team is that they are just completely full of players that Tom Thibodeau loves. This is a very Tom Thibodeau team, just hard-nosed players up and down the roster, from Jalen Brunson to Donte DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Precious Achiuwa, Isaiah Hartenstein. Mitchell Robinson was playing great at the beginning of the year, but unfortunately an ankle injury has put him out for, maybe he might come back towards the end of the season, I don't know. But you still got guys like, obviously OG Anunoby in the trade, Deuce McBride, Quentin Grimes, even though he's been out for a few games here, Julius Randle. It's just full of hard-nosed, tough players that do a lot of, seemingly Tom Thibodeau things. Once again, they are just killing teams on the offensive glass this season since January 1st. Even without Mitchell Robinson, by the way. They are first in offensive rebounding percentage at 34% and are second in overall rebounding percentage. And it's guys like, Isaiah Hartenstein batting balls back off of a miss, batting them back to the backcourt. It's guys like Josh Hart and Donte DiVincenzo flying in and crashing the glass. Or they'll do the thing that Derek White and Drew Holiday do for the Celtics, where the opposition gets the defensive rebound. The big man hasn't quite secured it, but he thinks he has the rebound and is safe for now. And then Derek White and Drew Holiday are under them or lingering near them to kind of get a quick swipe at the ball to see if they can jar it loose. And that's what DiVincenzo and Josh Hart do. Deuce McBride does that sometimes too when he gets his minutes. They just do a lot of hard-nosed things like that on the offensive glass. And in turn, that gives them extra offensive possessions, which has led to a 119.3 offensive rating since January 1st, which would be 8th. They are tied with the Cleveland Cavaliers for first in defensive rating since January 1st. They kind of lost their hold on the first position after losing to the Lakers last night, but they were in the 20 range before the new year, and they've kind of rebounded back in that way, and obviously that coincides with OG Anunoby coming over, even though he's been out for the last 3 games with the elbow thing. And then they lost their first place position in net rating. They were like a plus 15 before the Lakers game. They're now second at plus 13.8. So the Knicks are playing good basketball. They are 10th in three-point makes since the new year, 7th in attempts, 20th in three-point percentage, though I imagine that's going to go up some once they get Grimes back, once they get OG back, etc. But Tom Thibodeau is obviously emphasizing more threes. He's talked about it before. But the rotation just top down just seems really solid. I like the offensive versatility that the Knicks have now. You can do Jalen Brunson pick and roll. You can do Julius Randle ISOs. Isaiah Hartenstein has been great since Mitchell Robinson went down. He's a hub. He can, do dribble handoffs. He can hit backdoor cutters. He can also do pick and roll with Jalen Brunson and make decisions in the short roll. So I like that about him. The dribble handoff game obviously helps guys like DiVincenzo flying off of, handoffs to shoot the ball or get downhill. Josh Hart, he can get downhill, which he loves to do. And obviously, the handoffs work with Jalen Brunson, or you can do handoffs with Julius Randle as well. So they just have a lot lot of variety in their offense. It's not just, jacking up a bunch of threes. Even though they're a slow-paced team, in the half court, they're just very versatile with what they do. And then, like I mentioned, the offensive rebounding. Forgot to mention that Precious Achiuwa is also a big part of that. He killed the Pacers the other night on the offensive glass, just absolutely mauled them, along with Hartenstein. Just a very solid, tough-nosed basketball team that knows its identity. And then on the defensive end, obviously, DiVincenzo is somebody who's very good at the point of attack, very good off ball. Josh Hart, he's built like a brick shit house. He can put his body on somebody. Jalen Brunson and even Julius Randle, though they are not, elite defenders, they are definitely hard-nosed and tough. Isaiah Hartenstein also has been fantastic defensively. And it's sort of weird because they're not one of the top teams when it comes to taking away three-point attempts or taking away the rim. They actually allow the 5th least mid-range shots in the NBA. And I do wonder how that's going to play out in the playoffs. But at the end of the day, they still seem really connected and convicted in what they do. I'm just still a little weary of the shots they do allow, though. I figured you'd either take away either the rim or the three-point line, but they're playing great defensively to this point. Just wonder, that's just something for me to track as the season goes on. But either way, this team is very hard-nosed. I like the identity this team has. They clearly have an identity on the offensive end. They're also very decent at not allowing a lot of transition, even though they do crash the offensive glass, which is very impressive. But when you look at the top 9 in this rotation, because I know guys like Zach Lowe and stuff have mentioned that the Knicks are still, not looking to make a move before this Thursday's trade deadline, but they are definitely sniffing around to see what else they could add. But you look at the top 9 of the Knicks rotation, you obviously have Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, OG Anunoby, Randall, Hartenstein, Deuce McBride, Quentin Grimes, Josh Hart, and then obviously Precious Achiuwa, which, depending on who's out, he can be your de facto 4 or your backup small ball center. He's been starting at the 4 the last few games, but it'll be also interesting to see what happens when Mitchell Robinson comes back, because he was playing fantastic before he got hurt. He was leading the league in offensive rebounding by like a country mile. He was averaging, I think, over 5 offensive rebounds per game, which was absolutely absurd. So if he comes back, along with what they already have, Tom Thibodeau can just go to a bunch of different lineups. But like I mentioned when that trade happened for the Knicks and the Raptors, I think that trade benefited both teams because, one, the Knicks got to repurpose all of RJ Barrett's usage, a guy who I still have a lot of stock in, by the way. You were able to repurpose his usage to Randall and Brunson, and then it trickles down after that. As much as, there were rumblings and stuff about how OG Anunoby wanted to be more of a creator and stuff, he is a great off-ball player. He can cut, he can shoot, he can definitely, fill a lane in transition. And then he can make a 1 or 2 dribble decision. It has to be quick, though. But if you look at OG Anunoby's numbers since coming to the Knicks, this is the best he has shot in his career. And it's changed a bunch of different lineups that Tom Thibodeau can use. The Brunson, DiVincenzo, Anunoby, Randall, and Hartenstein lineup is posting up a 128.3 offensive rating, which is absolutely insane. Their defense is still 111.2 points per 100 possessions, which is still in the 60th percentile, but it could definitely get better. And then all the other lineups are just scorching teams offensively. They're just posting up these ridiculous numbers since the new year. And this team is definitely very scary. It's going to give one of the 2 top teams hell, even the top 3 with, the Sixers and their uncertainty around Joel Embiid. Can't forget the Miami Heat. That is a team that I have in the contender tier no matter where they finish, just because the track record they have shown. Even last year, they made the fucking play-in, almost got eliminated in the play-in, by the way, and still made a run to the finals. You just got to give Jimmy Bam and Eric Spoelstra that respect. But if you're just talking about who's next in that power ranking, it's definitely close between the Cavs and the Knicks, but I would definitely put the Knicks above the Cavs just because I just like this team's identity. I like all the players they have. The Knicks overall have just been playing like one of the best teams in the league. The league is always good when the Knicks are good because that arena, Madison Square Garden, is just electric. And I know people hate the whole big market stuff, but it's undeniable that the league is fun when the Knicks are good because their fans are insane, and I mean that in the kindest way. The Garden is popping whenever this team's good. Seems like the fans have fallen in love with this team, which is also awesome, and they're just really fun to watch just because of the environment and all that other stuff. But this is one of the best teams in the league. They have been for a month now, and we'll see what happens come playoff time.